I'm in shambles on my cord right quick.
Oh my God!
There we go. Might have to leave it in cold open. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Apex, the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the final episode in the Champs Breakdown series. Group D, our final group. If this is your first video, you can go check out groups A, B, C, the ones before this one. This is the final group, and really, we are extremely close to Champs. It's going to be one hell of a time. Don't forget, if you guys are new to the channel as well, we will be going live, whether it be from Don's Twitch account, from the Apex the Podcast YouTube account. We've got the whole setup ready to go, which is why I'm kind of angled weird in here. We've got it all set up. We are going to be cooking here in town when Don visits me out here, ready for all of that stuff. It's going to be one hell of a ride. Cannot wait. Going to be fantastic. So go check all that stuff out. Follow us on all the other socials. They'll be in the links down below. Boys, let's not waste any time here. Let's get straight into Group D, because what I want to do at the end is have a quick little prediction, get some predictions out there, because that's what the people want to see. That's what the people want to see. And as the resident prediction getter writer on this show, I think people really want to see what I have to say. And I really want to get there. That's what I'm hoping. That's
resident,
what I will get.
Resident prediction getter writer. That's
that's a top tier analysis breakdown by Wyatt Badley.
That's right.
To the least.
That's right.
I will say though, I think we have to say the big news that obviously dropped today. In case you lived under a rock and you were on Twitter, big shout out to Nicewig, bro, co-owner of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, that's big.
Cool.
That's big time.
Huge for the Apex
That's big
scene.
time.
Shout out to the boy Nicewig. Love to see it, and I think we could all agree, very well deserved. So
yeah,
and that should mean 100 Thieves is going to be in Apex for a while.
He said flat out, he said, so long as I'm a part of 100 Thieves, which he became an owner today, he said they will be in Apex. So that's pretty hype. He also said he was dropping phony immediately, though. So
yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
I mean, never mind, I'm not going to say it.
But I think, Dawn, the only other news that we had was, did you want to say the Nasky news?
Yeah. So for those, the funny thing is, as all Apex things are, I think there was a set time that this was supposed to be mentioned, but of course, you just watch a stream and any Apex professional player probably will leak stuff. There are rumors and speculation that Pana from Boogie Borders will not get his visa in time. And I saw it yesterday, and then I saw it again today. Nasky is with Metro and Raki. At least he was with Metro today, getting ready to scrim. So it does appear, at least as of recording now, that Nasky will be, in fact, playing at LAN, which, hey, always love having the man at LAN. Always can expect the entertainment, to say the least. So, and honestly, pretty decent replacement. I think we all could agree, especially losing your IGL and Pana. You know, getting another LAN tier,
LAN
IGL
caliber
like Nasky. So, big shout out and good luck to them.
That's I know, like, Australians tend to have troubles getting visas for North America, which seems odd sometimes. But I didn't know about like Japan, that he'd have a tough time.
Yeah, it sounds like it's more of a time thing versus actually getting the visa. So. Because at least from the things I've heard, it's just more of like the visa won't get there in time. It sounds like things were probably, I don't know, mailed late, or just the process took a while to get going or whatever. But yeah, that, at least as of right now, it does appear that is the case. So we'll be seeing Nasky with good old Boogie Borders.
Speaking of Boogie Borders, hopefully we get to see some of these hoverboards inside LAN. Am I right, boys? Am I right, fellas? Trying to see some of those hoverboards.
Could you imagine if this patch was live?
I know.
I've always said
insane.
It'd be cool. Like, we only have one vehicle in Apex. What if they added another vehicle? I thought like an individual like motorcycle where only one guy can ride it. But like maybe like 3 spawn.
Just send in your fragger, they die, just alter TP them back.
Really, what I'm hoping for from the hoverboard
up here.
Yeah, I mean, really, what I'm hoping for with the hoverboard now is I just want to see. I want an LTM where we can race. I want the fellas to race. I've been saying this for a long time, since the Trident came in, but the Tridents, I feel like it's. I don't know if that would be like a fun LTM
We could do it.
hoverboards
Actually.
though.
We don't need the
that
LTM.
could be
We
fun.
could just do it.
We could just do it, but like, how sick would it
it?
be if you could actually like race the fellas like in a real sanctioned thing?
Sure, but if you think about Olympus, it has like a track around their outside.
It does.
Why don't we just hop on Olympus and race as the boys?
We can do that still. We can do, and actually, it requires you to also not get shot and killed. Which, like, if your boy's out in front but he gets killed, guess what, buddy?
If we get the squad, depending on how many of there are, you could do it where you have like 20 minutes to loot arc stars or something like that. No, not 20 minutes, like 5 minutes to loot arc stars, and then like you have your 2 arc star throwers and your driver.
Yeah, that's big. I like that. I like that a lot. But yeah, so new update coming soon. I don't believe I think they're playing, Donnie, they said something about like a dedicated server to playing not on this new patch.
Correct. Yeah, they're going to be playing on a specific patch like that they're playing on right now, kind of like what other esports do, just to avoid obviously the competitive integrity of a patch coming out literally a week before. We've obviously seen, when it's been only a couple weeks before and how maybe entertaining for us, but not for the players that's been. But I definitely think it's a very good move, and hopefully that's kind of like a norm that we can make in Apex like a lot of other esports do. So
that'd be fantastic. That would be great. Now, boys, let's get into Group D here, the final group out of all of the 4. And this one has some exciting names, some exciting teams in it. Let's kick it off with VK Gaming. And I'm going to kick this one off, obviously, with Don, because he had been talking about VK for a long time and kind of trying to get behind this team, get people to get behind this team. And luckily enough, they pulled off the EWC Midseason Playoff Championship. Don, with VK, though, going into split number 2, things got a little bit hectic, haywire. Obviously, it didn't go exactly the way they wanted it to, but there was plenty of good reason for that. It wasn't just bad performance or whatever it was. So get into VK and why people should be looking at VK as we get ready to go into champs here.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, obviously VK, they came off their EWC victory, which was obviously, for a lot of people that watch APAC South, and then some people that, like myself, that have watched a lot of the other regions. It was a very cool story to see, a team that going into Germany in year 4, not a lot of people knew about. They ended up getting a top 10. People thought it was because of crypto, and then they come back at champs. They get another top 10. They make finals beginning of this year at the Open, and then they end up winning EWC. So really cool story to see. Got a little derailed this split, like kind of like Wyatt mentioned, just because QQ, who is their main playmaker, IGL, and obviously one of the better, mechanical players I think we've seen lately in Apex, took a break. He had gone to school, from what I understand, because a lot of the players in, I believe it was China players, had decided to take a break because of the split, not really mattering as much. They had already qualified for champs based on how they had performed. So he goes back, he takes a break. They don't really perform as well. And then they also have taken a break from scrims for about a month because of their visa process, trying to get everything figured out. From everything I've heard, they're all good to go. They've got everything, so we shouldn't be worried about them not being there. But for this team, if we can see them perform like they did at EWC, a very solid flex team, really showed their 3v3 fighting potential. I think it was the biggest thing that we saw last time at EWC, and really just won the big fights and the big moments, while also, picking really good spots to play. A lot of people mentioned they got a few Humbert zones in a row there, which helps, but it's you still got to win the zones that come to you, or you got to go win zones that travel away from you. So overall, I'm very excited to see what they can do. They're probably more of like a wild card, just because we hadn't really seen them together for a while, in new metas and different things like that. And I know, like Chumba's mentioned before, like a different format than EWC. So there's a lot of factors that I think, you can't really maybe lock them in as like a favorite, but I still put them in like that top category, top 8-9 teams that should be competing for match point and potentially win the whole thing.
Now, Jumbo, when you look at ceiling and floor for a team like VKG, you know what the ceiling can be because they won, but you also had all of those other things take place that Donnie just mentioned. So I feel like maybe the floor is a little bit lower than people might expect, or am I off on that?
Maybe I'm high on VKG, call it recency bias, but like Don said, like they've been good for a while now. It's not like like they won that land, but it's not like it was the first time that they showed up and made match point and they lucked out. Like they'd been in several land or finals and hit match point or like been in key positions to get there. You know, thinking back to last Japan, they were there too. Germany, like they did pretty good. So I'd actually say like my floor for them probably is like a finals. Like I think that there's no reason that they don't make it again. Again, obviously everything that Don said, but like you don't forget how to play the game in 6 months, right? Even if everyone's been practicing and everything like that, I think that they're still good enough to do it. Also, they were big Valk players. Last Japan, they got match point and everything like that, and they were one of the few teams that were playing Valk with the Gibby Newcastle instead of the Cat or the Rampart, which is like the other two dominant picks and everything. Now they were able to accomplish what they did with no ring console. I'm sure that they'll have like a ring console character, but now Valk has been buffed ever since that LAN. So I think that they'll be able to excel with Valk at least until she's banned in those sets, right? So, anyways, yeah, I think that they'll still do quite well. Like I agree, maybe a wild card in the sense of like, are they going to win again? I'm not sure, but that's always a possibility. But I think they'll go to finals.
That boy QQ is fun to watch. That's all I have to say. That's really my only contribution to this is that dude is nuts. And watching him play at EWC, yeah, I agree with Jumbo. I just don't see this team. Like, you don't just go from as good as they were to then not making finals just because you didn't practice for a few months. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think a big thing for them, too, that's going to definitely be in their favor is that with them performing so well this year, they got a very high draft pick. They were the fourth seed. So unless they
got all their Humbert labs again.
Yes, like I was just gonna say, yeah, they got Humbert, they got Mill, they've got like Lava Siphon for other group stage POIs. So everything definitely for QQ not being there. Like you guys mentioned, you don't just forget how to play the game when you're that good, and you also have the POIs that you want to play out of, plus their ability to play both styles, which is what Apex South teams struggled with for a long time, was that they were really good at fighting, but not a lot of them were really good at playing like the macros, getting to zone, things like that. And VK is one of the first teams really from that region that's done a lot better job of being able to play that flex play style. Because even watching some of the scrims they have played, they've been playing with like a console character with like the Watson or Caustic, things like that. But they've also been mixing like Pathfinder. So whatever really they feel like it, if they want to go more aggressive and have the Pathfinder as their console legend, or they go, they stick with more of like the console legends like the Watson and stuff like that, they're going to be a team that, again, as long as they show up and perform the way that we have seen them, they're going to be a team that's going to be back on match point once again. I have no doubts about that at all.
Yeah, I'm quickly looking here. I was just looking at the scores, and the only LAN where they didn't do amazing in like the last like 4 LANs might have been the Open. They got like 17th, but that's still a finals of like however many teams showed up at that event. I'm just quickly checking. Yeah, they got top 10 at every other LAN, so it's pretty good.
They also have fans that travel really well. Their fans
really
travel
well. Dude,
really
the story is, from what I understand, I was told this by someone at EA, and I could be mistaken, but there was a guy once that had drove all the way to Birmingham from like China or something like that for the Birmingham Champs LAN, and that guy is the guy that like started VKG because like he's just hugely like passionate about Apex, and I guess had the money to be able to start an org and everything like that. Don't quote me on that. I might be misremembering the story, but it was something like that. It was something crazy. Like someone who's very involved in like Apex scene, loves this shit. That's the type of like culture behind the org.
No, I'm pretty sure you're right, because that story sounds very familiar to me too. And I mean, we saw firsthand at the Open. I mean, obviously a lot of their fans are going to be coming from China and overseas, and they had probably the second, third most fans.
They always do.
It's so impressive, and it's going to be fun to see those fans again. And I mean, it's just more orgs hopefully can get to that point. to where we see that many fans at no matter where the land's at. So
because it's Japan, the Chinese teams last year had a ton of fans.
Yeah.
So like, and I wouldn't thought that they would have gotten.
You could hear those fans in the crowd from the broadcast.
Even in LA though,
it's fun.
VKG fans were going nuts. Like even in Los Angeles. So they just travel really, really well. So it should be fun for them. Now let's move into the second team here, and that is Ninjas in Pajamas. And boys, we really like this team just because we've talked to a lot of these guys. I think we've talked to every single one of them, actually. Yes, we have. So NIP from the Americas region, 5th place in champs points. They obviously had a very, very good midseason playoff. They got 3rd place overall. And there was a few times there where we thought that they were going to win the whole damn thing. Jumbo, I'm going to throw it to you first here. When you look at Ninjas in Pajamas in their last performance, you look at this team and you say, this was a team that's gelling in all the right places, all the right times. And there was actually probably 2 games that they really look back on and they're like, damn, we could have won it right there. One thing goes differently. It's completely rewritten. The history books look on them completely differently. Now, the problem is following up that kind of performance. And we've seen sometimes with these teams that, kind of surprise people, it might take a little bit to get back to that point. But with this team, do you feel a little bit more confident in saying that this is a lock for like a finals lobby?
Yeah, absolutely. We said this when we talked about ROC, that like it feels like the 2 stories of those teams have paralleled quite well. But like you look back at this year, Vayne had taken a break from playing Apex, comes back. The Open is like the first serious tournament he's playing in. They got McLovin, they got why am I forgetting his name?
Correct.
Cersei. It was Cersei at the time. And like they go and they get and like after all that time, and they were a little bit of rocky waters with Cersei at the time. They actually tried dropping him before the LAN, but then he went with them still because it was too late or something like that. They got top 10. They go into Pro League, and no one would have expected them to be amongst the top teams all the way into the regional final, where they almost won that regional final, but go and tie for first place. They lose a tiebreaker to Falcons, right? And then go into midseason playoffs, carry that on, coming 3rd overall. And like you said, could have been 1 or 2 fights away, or maybe 1 Kraber shot away from winning that fucking LAN. So I think that this is a team that, like, they've been consistently good all year. Lots of good firepower. When we talked to them, they talked about some of the issues that they had. It was like they felt Kurev was just too, honestly, much of like a one trick on Sparrow. They've had a lot of time to try and work through those kinks. I hope that they have. And they just seemed like a squad that feels confident, has the firepower and an intelligent IGL behind them that I don't see them missing LAN. And I wouldn't be surprised again to see them come top 5.
Enoch, when you look at this team and you see their ceiling and their floor, where do you kind of think they sit amongst the rest of not only their group, but just the overall tournament?
I would say like floor for me is like top 10 in finals. That's like the absolute floor. I would be astounded if this team does anything less than that. They've had a ton of time to work out all of the problems that they've had, and they didn't really have that many problems. Because even with he like a little bit of a Sparrow one trick, but like they were able to clearly have success despite that being the case. And so if that's like your main problem that you have to work through, then you're in a pretty good place as a team. And I really like the dynamic between Vayne and McLovin and how close of a friendship they have, like outside of just the game. And I think that like relationships like that actually like come tournament time play a huge impact, and being able to like regardless of like the situation that you're in, like you're in that like okay, so you guys have a couple bad games, like you have a couple bad games, you're with your boy, like it's all good. Like you guys know that how talented you are. And so I think this is a team that has really good heads on their shoulders. And then especially with having Raven as their coach, I think there's not really like a weakness on the team, and everybody seems to be doing their role the way that they need to in order for them to succeed. And so, yeah, like I was tempted to say top 5 as the floor, but I thought that was a little crazy. So we
when you do your predictions, top 10. You lost in your prediction. Lost in your prediction. Well, the other thing about McLovin is like what I see from the guy is like that's like a guy that has like that competitive spirit where it's like he wants it, but he wants it bad. Like I'm sure all these competitors want it, but there's those types of guys in every sport where it's like they fucking hate losing more than they like winning. And McLovin seems like that guy, because like the example I would literally bring up is when we were talking to them and we brought up that game where they get Cravered in the back, and you see McLovin, he's like, the game, Vane, he's like, a game like that doesn't upset me that much because like it was out of our control. He's like, the last game like really upsets me because everything was in our control and like he made the wrong call. Whereas McLovin was like, I could tell, you look at him in that interview and he's fuming the whole time that we're talking about this situation again, right? I think
as Vane was saying like, oh, it didn't bother me, he was like, I fucking hated it. Like he said something.
He said something like that. He was fuming. Like you could tell that he's like, he could not believe he had to relive this. I felt bad because I just made a video about this. It was like, just hope he doesn't see it because he does not like that moment. So
he just skipped it. There was no way he watched that.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like I love a competitive spirit in a person like that. You know that like he's been dying to get back to land since mid-season playoffs.
Now, Don, when it comes to NIP, you have 3 very, very good players, no doubt about it. But when you look at somebody who has to be the X factor, the one that has to perform and has to perform above the rest to make sure and can ensure at least a top 5, top 10, that type of situation, maybe even win the thing, who do you look at as their X factor?
I think for me, the X factor is going to be Kurev. I think that with Vane, I think you know what you're going to get. Very experienced IGL. More often than not, it's going to put the team in the right spot. I think we've seen from this year specifically with McLovin is, I think a lot of people knew, at least the Apex scene, what his potential could be. But this year, he's really shown a consistency of like, the output you're going to get from him. I mean, just watching that man with an SMG sometimes is ridiculous with what he can do in fights. But I think Kurev, at times can be switched off, and not in terms of like really focus. It's just picking the right moment to like try to go open a fight or try to peek this or do that. Like, I think there's just been moments, whether it's been on NIP, whether it's been when he was like with T-Law or some other teams he's been on, we've seen 1 or 2 moments where that can be an issue. So I think if there's anything that could maybe hold this team back, and I don't even think this is specific to Kurev, I just think it's those moments, it's those self-inflicted moments of over peaking this or getting too aggressive on that. Those little things would be what I think could trip this team up. Again, I'm very much in I think they're going to be top 10. I'd be very shocked if they weren't. But the day I'm really going to be locked in on is going to be the elimination portion of the tournament, the bracket stages. Because I think group stages is set up very well for them because they're a team that can score a lot of points. They're a team that can win games. So any way that, they can pile up the kills, pile up winning games, I think they'll be fine during the group stages. It's just, if they have that bad set during the bracket stage, what does that do then moving forward? Do they try to get overly aggressive? Do they try to push things they shouldn't? Do they get a little bit in their heads about stuff? Those would be, if I'm like going to play devil's advocate, those are the small things that I wouldn't even say worried about, but just if you're a fan, what to watch for. Mm-hmm. But again, I will say all that and be like, I still have them as a top 10 and in that category of like, I could see them winning this in a lot of scenarios. So
the only last thing I would say about that, and like, this is kind of like what Don was saying, a lot of people call them like barometer merchants for some reason, or for an example, because like they get a lot of, like, everyone says every land, why is there so many barrow zones, right? But at some point, if there's that many barrow zones, just take barrow, right? Yeah,
yeah.
But like, because I remember Vane saying that was another thing. He's like, people are going to call me a barrow merchant because they got some barometer zones at mid-season playoffs. They had a lot of good zones. Like they got Humbert and they were landing pretty close to Humbert. I don't remember exactly where, but nonetheless, the big thing about Vane is like when he gets his zones, he maximizes the points out of them. But they're a team that like fights a lot. Like they go for kills. They want to. So yeah, I look forward to watching. They're a team that if you don't have someone to root for right now, they're a fun one to like pick and root for.
Really fun. Like we mentioned, it's the same thing with ROC. They just feel like they're going down the same direction, and they have both really good stories and really good players and coaches to root for. So overall, just a fun watch whenever you're tuned into NIP. Let's move on into the next team here, also from the Americas region, and that is Grow Gaming with Dropped, Keon, and Knocked. Now, the obvious joke here for this podcast is which one are they going to get, 5th or 6th? We'll get to that later.
Don't get to that later. Start with Don, and Don will tell you his take. He told me the other day.
You have a take, Don?
Don,
what did I say?
You told me the other day, you're like, this is a team that feels like mid back. Like he's like, as much as we say 5th or 6th, like that's like where like you'd slap them or something like that. Like not top 5 overall, but like that's what they get in each group, which would probably put them around like the bottom half of like groups.
Oh yeah,
something like you were saying to me.
Yeah, it's like it's so weird because I really feel like this team. Again, just with the names on paper, you expect them to be like, I hate to say it, but 5th or 6th. But it just for
you don't hate to say it.
I hate to say it.
It feels nice to say.
Well, I'll be honest. I was waiting for him to get another excuse to say 6-7. That's kind of what
I was just about to say. What about 6 or 7?
I knew he was going to say it. So, but there you go. There's your 6-7 plug for the people that need to hear it.
Dia, from the broadcast, when I did the 6-7 one at the beginning of this series, he DM'd me and said, "Don't ever do that again."
Oh my goodness!
Go ahead, Don. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. No, anyway. So yeah, just for this team though, it just doesn't feel like we've seen them click as much. They also didn't really scrim there for a bit as well. They've been scrimming a lot more recently, so I wouldn't necessarily be as worried about that. But I also know they're not. They don't have a boot camp just because of some issues that happened with them trying to secure a place to go, and if they could get the funding for it, and visas for I think it was like visas for like South Korea or something like that. Along with that, so they're also going to be arriving basically like a day or two before and making that adjustment, and it just almost feels like there's just one or two things that are kind of like stacking up against them that. Normally look at this roster and it's like, yeah, again, I locked them in for a top 10, feel really good about it, but I also know that we've seen them on rosters at times that have struggled at lands. And again, if I just purely took this team on paper, I would say they'd be a top 10 team. But just this version at this current time, it just almost feels like, again, they're kind of just, they're going to get 4th or 5th in that area in each of their groups. Stage matchups, which again will get you to finals, but then it just feels like it's going to be a very average performance in finals. You won't really like hear about them as much. That's just like the feeling that I'm getting. But like I said, on paper, if they kind of figure out who's really going to be opening up their fights, because I don't really think we've seen like we've seen at times where like Keon and Noct have like kind of played that role, but it almost hasn't really felt like they like have that guy. Like they don't have like their certified Koifel to open up a fight or Hal or Gil to open up with damage. Just really hasn't felt like we've got that yet. And it's really hard to have like the high-end success at a tournament like this with so many good teams if you don't have like that certified guy that's always going to be the one that's basically opening up fights for you. So it's a weird one for me. Like I said, if I put them in like a tier list kind of thing, because I know people have been talking about that kind of stuff, I'd still put them like in finals, but I wouldn't necessarily again like feel like we're going to almost not really talk about them as much at this land. They're going to kind of just go through, make it to finals, and not really hear about them too much. I would gladly be wrong because, again, I think all 3 players, it'd be great to see them win land for as long as they've been around. And obviously Dropped and Noct both being very close to winning one. But I just don't really see it with this roster right now for me.
Jumbo, with the long-standing, you obviously have Drop and Noct who have played together for a long time. You add in Keon to that mix, and obviously we know who Keon is. We know what he can bring to the table. But it does feel like, at least from my perspective, a lot of times when I watch Dropped, any team that Dropped plays with, it seems like they can always get early success, and then all of a sudden you look at match 6 and they've just kind of fluttered down the leaderboard. And that's, I think, kind of where like the 5th or 6th joke comes from, because especially during match days, during like, just regular pro league, they kick it off with like some banger 20 kill win. And then it just kind of doesn't seem like they get a whole lot going through the rest of the match. And obviously that can't happen after you exit the group stages. So where do you feel Grow Gaming can kind of do better moving forward in what they want to do throughout this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, this was just Dropped specifically because he was playing with Skittles and Zap at the time, but exactly what you're saying, midseason playoffs, like last chance final, second game, 16 kill win, and then they didn't qualify because they proceeded to like not do too great for the rest of the day. So yeah, that's what's happened with him. What did you ask specifically? Was it like ceiling floor again?
something like that. I was more saying, like, what do you think they could change? What is something that they could look at and try to do a little bit better on moving into this? They're not going to have a whole lot of time to fix much, but is there anything that stands out to you that they need to focus on more, whether it be in game or just something to focus on out of game?
Yeah, ALGS is an interesting one, especially dropped in general, because like he actually had a pretty good year if you like look at like outside midseason playoffs, getting third in Split 1 Pro League and such. But they kind of flew under my radar, so I didn't really pay as much attention to them. Their story wasn't on my thing that like I'd know exactly what they needed to fix, but it mostly is down to what you just said, that consistency. Like if every tournament you're going out there and you're winning one of the first games, and then you're not doing enough to stay amongst the top 5 after that, you're just wasting opportunities you're opening for yourself. And you got to figure out what that is. Is that like, you have bad maps? Is it bad communication? Is it getting complacent? And like sorting that out. So fortunately, yeah, old gamers isn't one that, or not all gamers, Grow Gaming here isn't one that I had like the perfect answer on. Also too, because they did just are another team that kind of felt like they got thrown together late. Mostly just like dropped inserting instead of madness. So yeah, there's that. Like it feels like Furia, if anything. Like, you want to talk about like what were Furia's issues, which was a lot of the same things. Like they had a lot of like early success. You'd see them do really good, but just not sustain that across multiple games and multiple days. So it's about just consistency and nailing that down.
So E, when it comes to Grow Gaming, when you look at their ceiling and their floor, where do you kind of see them at? And I think Jumba's Furia take is actually like a really solid one, because a lot of times Furia did well. They got to finals, but then when they get to the finals, they don't really do anything that stands out too much. They also had some times where they did miss finals. So where do you see Grow Gaming kind of fitting into this?
Floor is finals for me. Like, I don't see them placing outside of that, and I don't think I would ever say, even if I ever thought that they wouldn't, because Keon's the boy, I don't think I would ever verbally say that. And so, but I do think that this is a team that I would say that they're due. Like, this is a team that is due a pop off, like just ball out LAN. And they haven't had the best of LANs these past few, especially that I believe they had a pretty rough open, at least when it came to the finals. And so like these guys are due, and like if they can get in a nice flow and they don't have like all of the there's a lot of RNG things that happen in this game, and it just seems, at least like the past few finals, that they've had way more bad RNG things happen to them than good RNG things. And so I'm going to go ahead and say that their slingshot is prepped and that this could be a banger for them. Interesting. Okay. Keep that in mind. What are you going to say?
I said, I hope it is.
Yeah. I mean, keep that in mind when we get to the predictions, because I'm kind of looking at Grow. I can't grow. I didn't grow a lot, but I'm looking at Grow when we get into our rankings.
I thought you were using Grow in a different context there.
No, I was not. Let's move on from Grow Gaming and let's get into APAC North, and that is E36, 15th in champs points. We got Synap, Illy, and Jusna. Dawn, when you look at E36, whenever we were doing the regional roundup, we were always talking E36. They were always somewhere near the top, just seemed to be the case every single time. And they've continued to show that throughout a lot of their performances throughout most of the year. When you look at E36 in the grand scheme of this entire tournament, where do you kind of see them fitting in when you've got the best in the world all together in one spot?
Yeah, so I think, because especially with like Synap and Illy, they've been playing together for a while now, and I know Jusna joined them this year. It really seems like they're a team that has gotten better the more that we've seen them. When a lot of people, I think, really first got to know E36 was the moment of them jumping on TSM during year 4, and that's when people like, oh, this team is terrible if they're making decisions like that. But really, since then, I have felt like they've gotten better. Some of the results may not have like shown it, but I really do feel like we've definitely talked a lot more positively about this team. They had a lot of really good moments with champs last year. Even during the Open, I know they didn't end up making finals, but they definitely had a lot of really good moments at the Open. And And then at EWC, they get top 10. I really thought they had a very solid tournament. And again, really showed that they've got some potential to kind of move into that space that Fnatic has left at the top of APAC North. They could potentially be one of those two teams. I think that really could take that spot if Fnatic isn't able to quite bounce back to that spot. So I am very excited to see what they can do at this tournament, because I do feel like the way that they play this pro league, they again, I know it was a weaker APAC North, so you can take it with a grain of salt if you want to, but I think they definitely showed a better capability of winning more games, which I think has been a question mark, along with their ability to win fights, because we saw champs, like I said, last year, they had some of the bigger pop-off games. That Storm Point game, a lot of people will remember. I think they almost had 20 kills in that game, if I remember right. It was like in the 15, 16, something like that.
Are you speaking of champs last year, sorry?
Champs last year, yeah. Champs last year.
Was it a Storm Point game or an E-District game? I remember being an E-District game. I was just looking at it right now. It was 21 kills.
Yeah, there you go. I think they had a really good Storm Point one too, but I think the E-District one, yeah, because I remember they had 120-plus kill games. So that's probably the one that I was thinking of. But yeah, I mean, they just show that they've got the capability to pop off, and their just biggest thing is, can they just replicate those games enough times to put themselves in a position to move through a tournament like this? Because obviously, we talked about EWC, it's a different format, so you got to take it with, it doesn't exactly fit how a champs tournament will play out. But again, I think with how they played last year at champs, they come into it this time, I think they have a lot more experience. They have a lot more confidence than maybe they probably did last year. And again, based off of how they played during the split this year, I think that they really are in a position to, again, I won't really put them in like the top 10 category probably, but on the right day, I think they could definitely get into the top 10. I still think finals for me is where I think they'll end up. There probably is a little bit of a bigger chance they could potentially miss finals if things go a little awry, but I feel really good about where this team is at. I've got them in my finals if I were to put a tier list together. And I think there's just a lot of really good things, because I really like the pickup of Jusna as more of an anchor player. They have him playing a little bit more aggressive than I think we've normally seen him, but I think, again, it's going to be a team that I'm very excited to watch play. That's not one of our America's teams.
So when it comes to the ceiling and floor here, Jumba, do you kind of agree with that sentiment? It's like one of those teams where I don't know why, but I feel like this would be a team where if the games go longer than maybe like 8 or 9, and you start to see a few teams stack up into that match point setting, they could be one of the ones that surprise somebody, maybe not near the top in points overall, but when a match point format goes long, maybe that's just a team that just happens to get the right zone at the right time.
Yeah, they're very wild card. Like, they can show up and they can be the best team in the lobby on any given day, but like it may not be the most common thing. But they had that winners bracket last year. This is where Donnie was talking about where they had that game. They came second place, and if you just went based off that, the next day you thought they were taking it all, because it was insane to witness that the way they were playing in that winners bracket. And then they went and they got 15th. So that's what I mean. And like, I argue sometimes that I think that sometimes there's an argument to be made that those winners brackets have better teams than the finals. Probably crazy, but like I would have to look at the lobbies exactly last year, but I'm just saying I find that sometimes it does feel like that. So it's not like it's a tough lobby. At the very least, it's the second best lobby of the weekend. They got 78 points across 8 games, right? I don't know if you remember it, Wyatt, when they dropped that 21-point game, though. And that fucking stadium, South Korean team, I don't know of a more electric moment that I've experienced in person than that. Like, I didn't get to go to Birmingham when TSM won 3 back-to-back. There were some finals moments in Japan last year that were pretty crazy, so those are up there with it. But the crowd, everyone stood up. Everyone went crazy for that 21-kill game because they absolutely shit on that lobby. They steamrolled everything. Now, they don't have aimbot this year. They got Junsa, but Donnie's saying, like, he likes to pick up and everything like that. So hopefully they bring a performance like that again, because holy shit, was that exciting. People gave them so much crap for, like, the jumping on TSM, as Donnie said, but that got them into champs and then gave us that moment. And if you guys have never seen it, there is a clip. Shout out the guys. Oh, they're called Film Club Productions, I believe. They're the guys who do a lot of like the filming and B-roll behind the scenes that you see all the clips of on Twitter. And they have probably the coolest video of Illy just freaking popping off after that win and just raising his arms up to the sky. I love it. It's cinema. It's literally cinema. So that's my take. My take has nothing to do with their play and just how much I fondly remember that win that they had last year.
Yeah, I'll say like that was another moment where just watching, from home, you could hear it through the broadcast of how loud it was. It was really like a moment like that, and then like when VK, and then like when Fnatic was winning, like those when you could really hear it from home of how just insanely packed and how insanely the fans are going during those moments. But I think the biggest thing for E36, if people want like what's gonna, say they'll do well or not do well, it is going to be how they rotate. Because I think in a group stage setting where, again, I kind of mentioned with a lot of other teams, that fits more like aggressive teams where you don't really necessarily have to have the perfect macro at all times. If you just stack up a bunch of kills, get enough points. So that could work well for them. But again, if they get through into like that winner stage, can they replicate what they did last year where they kind of have these big pop-off ones that push you into that top 10 to qualify? Because again, I do think their rotations are their downfall. So if they are able to frag out really well and kind of make up for that again, I expect them back in finals. But if they start losing some of their 3v3s early and they start losing some of that confidence, and then they on top of that, they're not rotating well, I think it could be a land that they could potentially struggle. But I still feel, at least from what I've seen so far, pretty good about where they're at.
So we go from one wild card to the next wild card, and this is an EMEA team. This is Go Next Esports with Kinda, that I famously called Kind4, iHenchman, and Light in the IGL spot. We go into Go Next here. Now, Donnie, this was another team that we talked about a ton in the regional recap, because for whatever reason, I just like to talk about Go Next Esports. And when you think wild card, I don't know if there's a better team that fits the bill of wild card, because they can go absolutely stupid and then they can just not do anything at all. That's kind of where they're at. It's a very boomer bust type situation we got going on with Go Next. Now, let's just say, for instance, it's boom on this particular tournament. What is going right for them? Where do they excel in terms of what they do best?
Yeah, I'll be honest. Light, Henchman, Kind4, if you happen to watch this, I'm going to need
There's
y'all.
No way we're going with Kind4.
Kidding. I'm out.
That is criminal.
I still can't believe I called him Kind4.
Yeah, I can't believe you did that either.
Yeah.
But no, I would, if you guys happen to watch this segment, I'm going to need you guys to be a little bit more consistent, because I really feel like this team could be legitimately the second best team in EMEA and be on the heels of Alliance some days. I also think that if they have a split where they play at their worst, they could fall out of Pro League. Like, there's just some times, man, where they take some of these fights that are just very questionable, that put themselves out of very good spots that they could have been in. But when they are locked in, they are rotating well, they take really good fights, and they're winning a lot of these fights. Again, I feel like they could be one of the best teams that we see at this tournament. I just don't know what version we're going to get. We saw a streak there for a while that they definitely by far were the second best team in EMEA. And then we saw there a little bit towards the end, especially I believe it was a regional final, where they didn't place that bad, but the performance was just like that really wasn't what we kind of expected. We expect that to be a little bit more of a competition, but Alliance just ran away with it. So if we see the version that we saw early on in EMEA Pro League, where they were keeping pace with Alliance, they were winning match days, they were playing really well, I feel like this team could make a statement and shock a lot of people, because I don't think that many people, unless you watch a lot of Apex, are talking about them. But again, it's just, I just don't know what version we're going to get at this tournament. And again, that's what makes Apex and what makes BRs interesting. But man, like it makes it tough for a tier list or a stealing floor type situation. Like I said, your guess would be as good as mine as where I think these guys will place. But again, three guys that are very, very capable.
Do you want my take?
I want it.
It's not a nice take.
Uh-oh.
I hate making this take all the time. Light, he's gone to lands and he's done well and everything like that. But for Kinda and Henchman, they might be the two most confusing players in literally all of Apex. because these guys get online and just dominate Pro League. Like we saw them last split. It was like them, Alliance, and Navi. Like these guys were former Navi, then they became Go Next became Navi. So like hopefully that doesn't confuse you. They dominate top 5, top 2 for the last 3 fucking years. And then they go to LAN and they always miss finals. And yeah, so like at that point, like I can't say they're a finals team because they've had multiple like years in a row. Like I think it's like 5 or 6 lands now where this has happened. So that's why I'm saying it's not nice. I don't want to be mean about it, but it's just the reality of what happens. So I hope they fucking beat their demons if they get to finals. I do. But like, yeah, it's just, if you wanted me to ask like I think they're going to make it there. And like, do I think they're going to place top 10 right now? It's no, especially because they got top, like what, 2 again. So that's kind of the pattern is showing a 24th placement right now.
Well, I mean,
hey, shooters though. Shooters.
Yeah,
no, they tried. They do.
Most
they
definitely.
do. Like they after the Open, they were sorry. Not after the Open. At the beginning of Split 1 Pro League, they were steamrolling. I'm like, this is their time. And then they got 137th at the Open. There's 144 teams, I think. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be mean. Like it sounds bad. But
well, like you're not wrong though.
I mean, they were like second or third because Alliance had a bad start to Split 1, so I'm pretty sure they were second when the Open came. They got 137th.
Yeah, I mean, if you just even look at like some of the placements that, especially when we look at like Kinda and Henchman specifically, we've had a Henchman that has managed to get 24th at 3 different lands, which almost might be more impressive than winning, to be honest. I don't really know. And I'm not even trying to say that to be disrespectful. Just to get the same exact placement is actually kind of crazy. But anyway,
listen, I know there was a lot of conversation outside the time that we flamed Matafe. And then like I went a little bit of a rant where I said like he might be cheating and everything like that. And the pattern is consistent, and Matafe hasn't even been there. So I don't know what to say anymore.
I think it's like general consensus that there's like a 90
Does he play the game anymore?
Chance. Not that I'm aware of.
Didn't he stop playing the game when Colonel Anti-Cheat kind of like was implemented?
Interesting.
Now we're
listen.
Now we're on a tangent.
We had an interview. I won't say who it was, but after the interview was over, there was just they were going
Words
after
were had.
Words were had.
It was. What are we talking about?
Honest.
It was on interview, by the way. It's in the episode, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think I had to cut it.
Did you cut it? Okay.
Yeah,
you cut it?
I don't remember. I don't know. I don't know if I did.
I don't think
if we cut that, we suck.
I'll have to go back and look.
That.
I know for sure whatever was in the interview I left in because he was talking about it in the interview, but we said stuff after I clicked the stop record button. And he was like, I really want to double down on this. And he went even further.
We could have a whole second pod on our post-interview convo sometimes, low key.
There's been some good ones. There was the one where I remember when we interviewed Timmy, he just straight up left and we were like, he big timed us. Then he came back in and then we talked for like 30 minutes afterwards. That was sick. We just thought he left us.
There's been some guys like 3-4 a.m. for them. And we'll be like, okay, man, we'll let you go. And then like 40 minutes go by and they're like, dude, we feel bad. Like, they're like, nah, I'm having fun just talking about Apex. Like, so like, we're good. Yeah,
I'm just chilling. No, it's always good. It's always a good time.
I'll real quick though, I will wrap this up because I don't want to be like too much doom and gloom with some of this stuff. I will say if you take scrims for what it's worth, they actually have been performing rather well, especially with like the ping not being necessarily perfect for them over in EMEA. They have been a team that has won a few blocks, have had a pretty decent average compared to everybody else. So I do think, especially with Light as the IGL, I did really like that pickup, and I think a lot of us would agree with that pickup was very solid for them. So if they are to replicate what they've been doing in scrims, they definitely are a team that, again, I think who with the players on paper can make finals and potentially has some crazy pop-off moments, but it's just so much about these tournaments is about consistency. And if you're not consistent, you have to have a lot of RNG to go your way to have a really good run. And I think that they unfortunately fall in that category of like, we just don't have like the consistent resume to really base all of these things off of. So we'll have to wait and see.
There it is. There it is. Okay, now let's move on into another EMEA team. This is Team Aurora, formerly known as Navi, formerly known as GoNext, and that is Yuchako, Hyarka, and Slab. We've had Yuchako and Hyarka on the pod in the past, and those were really good interviews. Some great times with those boys. Really, walking away from it, I remember in Japan, I didn't really know who they were at the time. I was sad that they won just because I had other people that I had known and I wanted them to win. Then when we talked to these guys, you realize like how cool they are. They were an awesome interview, both of them. So I'm really rooting for these guys like for the rest of their careers. I just can't wait to see what they do. And this is another team that I don't want to say they're wild card in the form that we just talked about with GoNext. But they are a little bit wild card in the way that once they hit the finals lobby, you really don't know what you're going to get. It's kind of a mixed bag. So, Don, I'll throw it to you first. When you're looking at this team overall, I think they make finals no matter what, but it's really, what do they do when they get there?
I'll disagree a little bit because I think from what at least I've seen recently and some things of how the year has gone, there's a lot that has happened between champs last year to now. And that is very difficult for any team to get past, because especially with kind of how the separation went with Zidane, there's a lot of things that obviously didn't go very well. Just not necessarily just in game, but outside the game as well. Obviously, you guys can go look that up and have your own opinions. But if they can find their form from last year, where they played very solid zone, that they just won all the important fights that they needed to win, and even found some of the games where it was sloppy at times, they've made something out of those games. If they can find that again, there's no reason that with their prior experience, even, with a new third, who I think Slab is definitely no slouch of a player, they can find their way back to finals and kind of see what happens from there. It's just very different from last year because they seem to be wanting to play a lot more aggressively, at least what I've seen the past couple of weeks, which really hasn't necessarily been their calling card before. I mean, we've even seen them playing scrims like without working with Newcastle very much, which I feel like is kind of surprising because I feel like that could be a character that fits Hierarch's IGLing very well. So that's going to be one to see where they, what direction they decide to go in. Do they stick with the more aggressive crypto from the rip and like really try to like force, their fighting onto teams? Or do they get into the kind of main meta right now where it's the Valk, the Gibby, or the Valk, the Newcastle, the Caustic, things like that. So we'll have to see what they decide to come out with. Again, a team that, if you just based on what they've done before, very finals capable, but at least right now for me, I think they kind of land right now in that losers round 2 area where they could make finals, they could miss finals. So we'll have to see what these boys can come out with, but I think they obviously showed last year that you definitely can't count them out. Because they literally had a run directly through the winners final lobby directly into finals and obviously ended up winning the whole thing. So can't count them out, but I think it's a little bit more uneasy, at least for me, of saying they're like a lock for finals right now.
What do you think, Jumba? You are muted.
I think they're a team that has pretty much showed us that everything that we've talked about on these last 4 episodes at some point taken with a grain of salt, because GoNext last year was not on any of our radars, and they went in, they got finals. They're a team who they got finals multiple times and then always got like last place, and all they needed was that one opportunity to get match point, one opportunity to win on match point, and they did it. And they did it. So that's what I got to say to most of them. Other than that, I do agree a lot with what Don said. This year has been a very weird, rocky year for them. And like they did not have a lot of the consistency I'm sure they would have liked. They got to have a little bit of a break to like find maybe that reset. And the one thing last year that I remember is they talked about just how much planning they did going into champs. And that's what really set them apart. They really got to leverage that meta the way that it worked. So now they don't have that with the legend ban, but I'm hoping that maybe, with this time they're able to like work out those kinks and on LAN show up different than like what they've seemed like online for the last little bit. So yeah, that's kind of the take there. Shout out the boys though.
And if you're a fan of this team, just remember from Jayhawk's video, and if you watched the pod last year, I said they were going to miss finals, and they ended up winning the damn thing. So I could look stupid twice in a row, which is very easy for me to do. So you can take forever that means, whether that's the blessing for you guys to go win again. We'll have to wait and see. But
get deeper into it, actually. So like, I had never talked about them at all, really too much. Made no videos on them. And then at the ALGS Open, they wanted me to make a video on them. They go and get bounced a little bit earlier than they probably would have liked. And so I haven't made a video on them in quite a while. Just saying.
Keep that in mind.
That's a big thing.
You got two sources there, man. You got two sources there. So
all I know is I want another Hyarka just full on freak out on the stage if they win. That's what I'm ready for.
Can I tell like a cool story partially though? There is there's a clip. I'll tell this story because I'm allowed to tell it. I just wasn't allowed to put it because like Apex doesn't like people standing on the desks for safety reasons and everything like that. And Hyarka stands up on the desk, right? There is a shot. There's a clip of like from behind them when Hyarka gets up on the desk and the camera guys like perfectly like frame it where Hyarka's standing on the desk just looking at the crowd like this while all the other guys are hugging. And it is the I think the pinnacle of just what it would feel like to win a tournament or something like that big. And the video I made on them at the Open, I ended it with that. I cut all the music and it's just them screaming and it's just that with it slowly like fading to black. And then they're like, yeah, sorry, we got to cut that shit. So no one's seen that edit and it's probably one of my favorite ones I've ever done. And I just need to talk about it because it's so cool. And that's like you're saying, like you want to see him have a freak out. Like, I don't even think he would probably remember that if you asked him.
No, I think we asked him about it. He said he just blacked out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right?
Absolute championship.
Yo, can I see that edit though?
Yeah, I have it. I have it somewhere. It was unfinished, but I do because like I saved it. I looked at them. I was like, well, if we're not posting this, give me this shit. Yeah. Because I was debating a posting. I never did, but I do have it on my computer. I will show you that.
I'm trying to see that. My short.
Maybe we can even toss it in the pod. We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Okay, moving on from them, we're going on to another APAC North team. It is SBI Epsorts. And Dawn, I won't have anything on this, so I'm going to throw it straight to you.
I shockingly will also not have anything on this.
Don, I got a little bit of SBI.
Before Don starts saying, don't expect to be like, wow. And I will say, Wyatt does an impeccable job of not even remotely asking me anything about the team. He knows.
There's certain teams I'm just like, I don't think he's going to have anything on this for me to ask. He's like, Don,
Jumba, next.
If y'all need to know why I'm on the pod, it's for moments like this. So just let me cook real quick. But no, with this team though, they definitely had some moments where, again, we really are looking for teams in APAC North to step up. With Fnatic not being the version that it was, with the Crazy Raccoon Boys of St. June and Obli, and Karampu no longer teaming, and they had flashes at times. They qualified for champ, so you obviously had to add a few moments this year of where he performed well. But it doesn't really feel like you're gonna get probably too much from these guys when it comes to this level, at least at this time. They also have a lot stacking against them because they've made a change with their third. Their old coach, Matarashi, is now playing, and it's going to be his first LAN, and they're bringing in somebody else to coach. I'm not sure as the reason as to why they made that change to the roster, but that is a confirmed change that they are playing with the person that was coaching them. So anytime, and that change only happened like 2-3 days ago, maybe a week at most, if I remember correctly. So not really a lot of time to like scrim together. They're also in APAC North, which they just yesterday switched to scrimming on those servers consistently. So when you don't have a lot of practice, you're making a roster change, and just your 3v3 fighting doesn't necessarily compare to everybody else in the world. That's just a lot that you have to overcome to really have a good performance. There wasn't really too much as well in their pro league where it made me think, oh, this team's definitely gonna pop off and win. They got 12th in their recent split. So, they're going to have to make a lot of good things happen. You're going to have a lot of things happen in their favor, which obviously it's a BR, so you never know. But it feels like this team is going to be a team that might be in that candidate of they might go out that loses round one. But we'll have to wait and see. You know, they are really good on E-District, so if they can maximize those games, we'll wait and see. But other than that, like I said, I don't really have too much probably that's going to be, oh, I think this team is a finals team or whatever the case is.
Yeah, the biggest thing would just be that they were like this like a wonder team of APAC North. Came out and they won split one. And like there was a lot of high expectations for them. Give me one quick second to check. Did they place at the Open or Dawn, or were they even there? Like what happened at the Open with them?
So they were at the Open, but they had a different third.
Again, a different third.
So yeah, that's why I didn't have where they performed this year. But I feel like the Open, they didn't have necessarily the best performance. I think they were like 40th or 50th or 60th, like somewhere in that range. But yeah, like you mentioned though, and I'll let you continue. Obviously they won split one. So, but you continue now.
Yeah, it was just like when you saw them win split one, and like they kind of won like when it came into like a kills department, like how aggressive they were, and like it felt like really dominant fashion. It was the first time that Yuka hadn't gone and won a pro league in like fucking 3 years in APAC North. So you thought that like, hey, maybe there's some new dogs on the block and everything like that. Some guys who hadn't played before, and unfortunately it just didn't like really pan out the rest of the year. They didn't make finals. They actually didn't do very good at all at EWC, and then you have the rest of like what Dawn's talked about now. So I'd love to throw everyone like finals teams, but they're not instilling a ton of confidence right now into like where they're going to be placing, and I don't know if they make it to that final day. But again, the biggest thing is for Japan LAN is like I hope every team comes out so that this way we can get those freaking crowds going wild. Nothing's more fun than that.
So moving on from Kinotrope Gaming, moving on from SBI Gaming over to Kinotrope Gaming, another APAC North team. They were 29th in their champs points. They got Yuka, Predator, Cannon, and Vols. Another team, Don, where probably not near the top or anything like that. What happened?
You said his name wrong, bro.
What did I say?
His name. You said Predator. Read it slow.
Oh,
Herodator. This is kind. This is kind for all over.
Oh, this is kind for all over again, bro. I just can't. This is FYR strays. This is FYR strays all over again, bro.
Me and Don, honestly, were talking about the other day. We're like, we actually don't like. Is it? It might be Predator. Me and Don started trying to go through like a few names, and this is one we kind of got caught up on. So we said we'll just say Arrow.
Yeah, Para. Well, I'll just go ahead and take over Wyatt, so you don't have to be more.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and think about what I've done.
But no, this team. I mean, there's definitely a few things that they can hang their hat on this year. They're when I was going through everything, they're one of the few rosters. It seems like that they've actually played the whole year together, so that's at least a feather in their cap. But they did end up making finals at midseason playoffs. They ended up getting last in that lobby, but again, they made finals. They were even one lobby away from making to the finals at the Open. So, or I guess maybe two finals or two lobbies. But anyway, they got 33rd at the Open, which when there's so many teams there, that's a pretty dang good accomplishment for them, to say the least. I've heard a lot of really good things about Vols. They said that he is a very good fragger, can open up a lot of fights, is one of the players to definitely keep your eye on. And so I definitely encourage people to do the same. I believe he had the most kills for them during Pro League and the most kills for them at EWC. So they're a team that during Pro League, they scored a ton of their points from kills. So can they take that aggression into a LAN like this where you're facing the teams like the Falcons, the Shopify's, the Alliances, things like that? That's always tough. We've seen some of these APAC North teams when we had when you could contest, there were some of these teams that try to take on some of these bigger teams, and sometimes it worked, a lot of times it didn't work. So with it, no contesting and things like that, they're gonna have to really make sure that they're rotating well, that they are making really solid choices in terms of what fights they're taking, what positions they take up, things like that. So again, they're going to be a team I think could be in consideration, potentially make the back into finals. Like, I have them as more of like a losers round 2 team. But I do think that if Vols can have a really good tournament and Cannon is IGLing really well, which Cannon has a lot of, or doesn't have a lot of experience when it comes to LAN. So if he's on top of his game and Volz performs very well, who is also very new to the LAN stage, Pero has a ton of experience that he could hopefully bring to this roster, and that they can perform pretty well. So I'm excited, and as Jumbo mentioned a couple times, another Japanese team, so it'd be great to see them succeed. But again, keep your eye on Volz. Definitely could be a name that we'll be talking about after the LAN if things go well. So
you muted.
Man, this is my thing, dude. Guys. Why is everybody trying to steal my flow?
I think I might put like a little whiteboard like right in this region, and every time somebody's muted, I just gotta mark it. And we have to keep it. We got to keep it low. You know, we got to keep it low, but you never
play
know
video games with E. You're fucking. You would miss so many times.
There'd be no white left on that board.
Yeah.
Moving on into Supernova EMEA team, the EMEA LCQ winner with Impulse, Kazakh, and Hardeki. Big question mark here, but it could be a really fun one. I'm going to throw it to you first, Jumba. Where do you see Supernova placing here? What's the floor? What's the ceiling? What we got?
Hardeki back on LAN? Are you kidding? They gotta make finals lobbies.
Mm-hmm.
The lobby. They gotta. I'm pretty sure that every time they've been at a LAN, other than the one where like it was just a duo, basically, it was like Oirain and 9 Impulse, they've made finals. So they gotta be there.
Floor top 10 easy.
Yeah. I don't know floor top 10, but like all I want to know is what strat they're pulling out that like no one's gonna expect at this LAN. That's it, because like even I don't care what they've been doing in scrims and this and that. There's something we're not prepared for that they're gonna whip out at LAN, and it's gonna go dumb stupid.
Mm-hmm.
He's dumb stupid on pod. What do you want? Stupid. He's dumb stupid on pod.
It's just Kyle. He leaves his impression everywhere.
Dummy stew.
He's dumb stupid on pod. It's just like last year was so electric with the Mirage. They won, and like honestly, it wasn't even just the Mirage. They won 3 games of Mirage, 3 games with the Rampart. They won the most games at the entire LAN. They won 3 in the winners bracket alone out of 8 games. And then they hit match point. Like if you watch their finals last year, their Rampart games were just ass. But all of their Mirage games, they were fucking averaging more points than any other team in the lobby. So, I know it's a little bit different. They don't have Oirain. They got freaking Hardeki in there. But that man's the Land Demon, the Grim Reaper. So, yeah, finals. I don't have anything technical about that. It's Aurora. It's Hardeki and 9 Impulse. You just know that.
Hell yeah.
I have nothing technical either. It's a team that you just don't know what to expect.
It's wild card shit.
I mean, it's a team that's a ton of fun.
You know what we call that? We call that Supernova.
No one in lobby knows what to expect.
No. I don't think they know.
They don't know what to expect.
They don't know what to expect. They definitely don't.
Yeah,
that's so true.
But it's one of those teams that if you're looking for 2 or 3 teams that you just want to star and be like, this is gonna be a fun team to watch, it's gonna be these guys, because they'll somehow make it out of ring 4 gas and 3v3 Falcons and kill them, and all the Falcons fans will be like, what the hell was that? But then Supernova wins the game, and you're just like, how the hell did they do that? They were dead like 2 rings ago. They're just one of those teams that you just never know what to expect, but they are all some crazy fraggers when they're on. So
I see that Seven is also their coach. I don't know if people know this. Like Seven is like a low-key like GOAT like analyst in the scene. Like you hear all these names, you see all these guys who are very much more public with this stuff and have been around for a while. Seven has been there since like when people started picking up analysts and coaches. He was always like Sweet's right-hand man, and Sweet never wanted a coach for a very long time, but he always had Sven back there helping him out. This guy, he very early on to my YouTube career, he like helped me out, hooked me up, put me in like his Discord with all the pros, and the shit that he used to put in there was so like cool and interesting, and no one breaks the game and finds more exploits than Sven. So, like low key, if like any high notes, if you're listening to that, Sven's cool. He doesn't break the game, by the way. But like, yeah, Sven, what's it called? He could be huge for them if he's on their squad now.
So then we move on into the final team of Group D It is Oblivion. And I'm going to kick this one off with Enoch because I know he's got some stuff on Oblivion. Monsoon, Blinkster, and Fun FPS. Where are we sitting at here, E? What do we think? Because obviously they got in. They were the LCQ winner. But they're our boys.
Yeah, it's a team that I think it's a team that everybody wants to see do well. And obviously, like, being one of the last teams to qualify, they aren't poised to come out here and dominate. But I do think that this is a team that, with how much time they've been able to have, I believe that they've been consistent in scrims. I believe that, like, they've been putting in the time. It's just a team that has really, really good off-stream chemistry. Probably one of the best off-team chem teams out of anybody. And I know that, like, Fun and Monsoon especially have had a pretty long history together. I believe they were roommates for a fairly long time, at least a few years. They bring in Blinkster, who's just this incredibly young, talented guy who's been IGLing
Canadian
fairly recently. And there we go, throwing that in there. I wonder why he did that. Definitely not because he's from Canada. But I do think that this is a team that could have all of the stars align and they pop off. Monsoon is known for having some of the best sniper shots in the world. Probably has the best sniper clip I've seen personally happen in a LAN, while he headshots the guy and then also fulls the guy before he hits the ground, which is absolutely, like, I don't think you could give me 1,000 attempts at hitting that shot. And I don't think I'm hitting that. And Fun is one of the more mechanically gifted M&K players. Blinkster, like, incredibly talented young IGL, but also displayed in the last LCQ that he does have that clutch factor. Because I don't know, for the viewers who might have, like, remembered, in the LCQ, they were in a situation where it was either they're winning or the team that they were fighting, who was also on match point, was going to win and bring it home. And with him on Bangalore, he was calm, cool, collected, and he made it happen. And so while it might not look like this is going to be a team that's going to come out and dominate, they do have everything that you would expect a team would need in order to make a good run.
He broke that fucking guy's ankles, if you remember.
He did.
He freaking tapped
that was bad.
I've only seen one worse than that, and no one has ever seen this except for us, but it was our buddy Brian when it's Timmy fucking tapped straight over his
one
head.
of the greatest clips ever.
They should never be in the same lobbies.
But like this is what I'm talking about. Like, if you guys know Brian versus Timmy, that's what this shit looked like. Like, Blinks are broken ankles.
Just absolutely shit on him.
Yeah, it was sick. I'm gonna shape up on my French Canadian and shout from the crowd to them. I haven't spoke French in 12 years. I know how to say "Est-ce que je peux aller à toilette?" And that means, may I go to the bathroom? That's all I remember. So I don't know if I might shout that. I might shout that at Blinkster and see what he says. I might say shout that at Blinkster and see what he says.
I love it. Now listen, Oblivion will probably not be on my list. But let me tell you right now, if we are in a match point situation and Oblivion's anywhere near that, fuck my list. I don't give a damn. It's Oblivion time.
Sure.
It's Oblivion time. No matter what. Yeah.
So good thing Oblivion, I don't think they sell hats because it's just their team.
I think they said they were.
Anyway, are they gonna make jerseys?
Shit, no, I was just gonna say.
Wait.
Check Monsoon's Twitter because I thought they mentioned something about jerseys. So
he did say something about that. Wyatt.
But while Wyatt's looking that up, I'll drop a little bit of just a couple things to watch for this team. I think one, if they can take advantage of when picks like Newcastle, Rampart, and stuff like that are in play, that fits very well with their zone play style. I think they'll definitely find some success. It's just gonna be those later games. If the bans trend to like Newcastle, Caustic, all those legends being banned, when things are a little bit more open, I think that's going to be sometimes when they struggle, and some of those other fighting teams might be able to take advantage of that. So definitely keep an eye on that. And also, I just want to counter of the number of Wraith portals Blinkster attempts and what his success rate is. Because if you watch scrims, there's some days where that man is 5 for 5 and will get kidnaps like nobody's business. And there'll be some days where he's 0 for 10 and 8 of those are him dying before he gets back to the portal. So I want to honestly, Wyatt, that might be a counter that we have to do on our own watch party of how many times that we see that, because I'm genuinely curious, because I've never seen one person attempt more kidnaps in a single game probably than Blinkster, and he does it like every single game there's Wraith. So that's what I'm honestly excited for, and I think that's the stats that we need to bring on the Apex podcast.
For every kidnap, we have to try shoving Wyatt into the void and seeing if his part, or for every kidnap, we just kidnap Wyatt at a random time when he doesn't know. Like we just get the boys to just jump him at work, drag him.
I'm the perfect size to fit in a trunk too, so it wouldn't take a whole lot of effort.
Bad. Also, shout out Genome, who commented on Reddit. I'm very excited for Group D, where I hope it's 5% group discussion, 95% how does Wyatt hurt himself.
Wait,
that's
we
what
didn't even think about that today. We didn't even think about that.
I mean,
today.
do you just want to go back up the list and try to rattle some off?
Real quick, Supernova. Every win, Wyatt blows himself up. Kinotrope, no idea. SBI, Aurora. Every kill, Wyatt has to take a trip to the Aurora Lights. The Northern Lights.
Yeah. Hey, SBI is the number of times we have to call the FBI on Wyatt. I think that's close enough.
On Wyatt.
That's close enough, yeah.
Go next. I mean, what does he say? Go next. Enter
go
first.
next door and say hi to the person. Got it.
Grow Gaming for every
Grow Gaming.
kill.
I have to break my own legs and do that surgery that makes you taller.
Yes.
No, that's fire.
You would probably
I was
want
gonna
that.
bring up plants, but hey,
wow,
do your
plants.
thing, bro.
We're all on different pages. I was gonna say he has to eat one blue chew.
I got plenty.
One blue chew.
Ninjas in pajamas. We hire ninjas. We dress them up in pajamas and have them chase Wyatt for every time they
beat the fuck out of him in pajamas.
Just beat the shit out of me.
There we go.
Absolutely.
One ninja for every kill. And then VK Gaming.
Virtual kill. I have to get virtually killed by you guys. That's easy.
There's not as many puns in this one.
Unfortunately, not Genome. I'm sorry, but we tried.
Not as many puns in this one.
We got to get Genome on
probably
the show.
Supernova's the best one. Genome's told me he wants to come on. That could be on me. He just said he has to find the week where his sleep schedule is on our time zone.
Yeah.
He says like every 2 weeks his sleep schedule is just, he basically is nocturnal, and he's like it flips because like he's in Australia, right? So sometimes he's awake during Australia time, sometimes he's not. So
fair enough.
It's respectable.
Yeah.
If Oblivion wins,
you get it.
You have to beat Oblivion the game in one stream.
Yes,
The entire
game.
So locked.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Entire main storyline.
That's a good one. I hope Supernova wins.
yeah, because then I just get blown the fuck up.
It's kind of like a fire strays over there, or no, reignite. If reignite,
I can't believe I said FYR strays, dude. Like that's almost worse than Kind 4. I just couldn't see.
I
that
don't think
it
so.
meant
I think
fire.
Kind 4 is
Kind
much
4.
worse.
No, Kind 4 is definitely worse because
like
there's been so many times where that name's been said on broadcast, and I don't think they've ever said it wrong.
And then on top of it, it's like FYR strays. You might like first time you look at that not know they pronounce it fire, so like that seems understandable. But people put numbers in their freaking gamer tags all the times and like make it represent a word.
Yeah.
So
the thing about the FYR strays,
a lot of people say FYR strays though too. So like it's not like everyone says fire straight.
Yeah, I guess the part that was embarrassing about the FYR strays was I started going off on a tangent about how it was stupid, and then you guys were like, "You mean fire?" I was like, "Oh." that's why that one haunts me. But okay,
happens to the best of us.
I do have one last thing, and that is just we were joking about it before, but a big shout out to Donnie. These freaking recaps would not be possible without all the work Don puts in. Truthfully, like guys, he's got 4 separate documents with notes on every single team. Are you posting them on the Reddit this time, Don?
Yeah, so just like usual, on my socials on Twitter and then on Reddit. We post in these guides. It just has basic notes on every single team. So whether you're new, whether you're coming back into Apex competitive, or you watch all the time, hopefully it should help you guys understand at least a little bit about each of these teams, their players, how they've done this year, all that good stuff. So just appreciate you boys, obviously, for being a part of this whole thing. And I'm just, this is the time of year where I feel like I really get my worth. So honestly, it's not even really that big of a deal for me at all to do this kind of stuff. So
40 freaking teams he did it for.
that's a huge shout out from Jumba to one of the boys.
Yeah,
that's big.
Which is
That's
not
big
even anywhere close to the 160 he did for the Open. That shit.
Yeah,
was
that's
that was
sadistic.
sadistic.
That is
crazy.
actually psychotic,
that was
bro.
question sanity back then.
Yeah.
Shout out to Paskenberg for the help that time.
Yeah.
40 teams does not feel bad at all after that adventure, if that makes doing this any easier now. So
So
appreciate
dude,
the work.
imagine a me and Wyatt duo on these. Yeah, so this is the team name.
It would straight up be like, so Kinotrope
he's
Gaming.
from Kazakhstan. That's crazy.
Oh my god.
Wyatt would actually be like, I don't know anything about this team, but their logo doesn't scream.
I would honestly just start
It'd be a
listing
logo
off like
stream, bro.
Kazakhstan facts. I'd just be like, their population is actually pretty high for a nation of that size. I would just start saying things that I don't even know if they're true. I just said that right now. I don't know if it's true. I just said that. I have no clue.
No clue.
So that's probably what I would do. And there was a time where it was just me and Enoch for a while there, but
Carrying
we
the
managed.
boats.
We
and
managed.
we made it here, and now we get carried
Now
by
we get
people who know more.
Dude, that's
beautiful.
what they pay us for. That's what they pay us for.
That's what they
beautiful.
pay
It's
us a
lovely.
lot of
Yeah.
money for.
Yeah.
If
If people want
Really-
more podcast lore, if we're really going into this, actually, I think that Wyatt still has not fixed the YouTube account and fixed the fucking payment system. So we actually make no money off the
None.
YouTube right now.
Yeah, I gotta fix
He
that.
has
No, it
not
was
fixed
paying
that.
us for a little bit.
Yeah,
but
it was. But then you had to
I don't know how to fix it, so I got to figure that out. So there's that, and then also the other back lore is me just like being in LA, being like, Jump, I need you on this shit. I
The
need
actual
you.
lore was that like I think Jay a long time ago told Wyatt to hit me up and ask me. Wyatt didn't do that. Wyatt didn't ask me to come on the pod several times. Then after he finally did,
Can
after I
we
met him
Jumba
one day,
for a minute?
yeah, then he finally did when I met him one day. But then he told me straight up himself he had no intention to ask me in LA to be on the pod until like the first day we met each other, and then we vibed, and then the next day he's like, "Yo, I've been thinking about it. You want to be a co-host?"
Well,
And I said no. I said no, but then a week later
the,
or something like that, I said yeah.
the reason why was there was prior engagements, and then I was like, fuck the engagements, I'm gonna ask Jumba. So that's kind of what happened. And then Dawn was inside. I sat next to Dawn on one of the days in LA, and I asked him just a simple question, and he gave me just like this he gave me this novel, and
This
I was like,
book of an answer, probably.
and then I was like, I'm gonna see how much this guy actually knows. So I just kept asking him questions, and then when we got back to the Airbnb, I just handed him a microphone. I was like, "You're on." Like I was just like, "You're on tonight."
Dude.
Rest is history.
Our lores are very similar, Jumba. It's crazy how very similar backgrounds we have.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about meeting Don is that he was sitting next to us, and I did not know he was sitting next to us. And then we all went to go get pizza, and he stood up and was like, "Oh, this guy's with the crew." Okay.
It was very much a fan experience when I was meeting or when I was with Jumba and Jay the first time. Definitely was not nervous at all about saying hi, which seems really stupid now, but it was very much damn, these guys are a big deal.
LA. Guys, that's been
LA.
what, 2 years? It's gonna be 2 years.
I stood in line to take a picture with Jayhawk, and he rejected my picture. He wouldn't take a picture with me. So then I just kept asking him in the line. I still have the pictures of me in the line asking him to take a picture, even though I had already met him. He was like, "You're being annoying." I was like, "Nah, let me get that pic." And then he waited till the final day, and he was like, "You trying to take a picture?" I was like, "Picture time." That's like the Jay backstory. But me and Jay had talked a lot more than me and Jumba had before Los Angeles. Okay, boys. Prediction time.
Oh,
you guys ready for this?
Fuck, we should have put that before our little heart to heart. We just did.
We probably should have.
Okay.
But that's what now they were forced to listen to it. So now they have lore that they didn't ask for.
Yeah.
So now it's prediction time. We're going to take a quick break while we go through our predictions. We're going to do our top 5, our winner, top 5 wild card. Here we go. All right. It's time. The ultimate time. It is. I almost joked. Oh, God.
Want to restart?
Yeah.
No, keep it. Persevere.
All right. We're back.
Nah, we can restart.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's time. The ultimate time. It's prediction time, boys. We've got our winner, our top 5, wild card, and we added in dark horse during the break. Now, for people who don't know, a wild card, they could either go absolutely bananas or absolutely suck. It really could go either way. Dark horse is more what we were kind of thinking of, where it's a team that maybe you might not think could win off rip, but, you know, you wouldn't be surprised if they came out of nowhere and ended up winning it. They have the talent to do so. They have the skill to do so. So that is it. Dawn, would you like to go first?
Absolutely. So I'm gonna go in this order: wild card, dark horse, top 5, and then winner. So I don't know if you guys want to do the same, but
that's what I'm gonna do.
So my wild card, I've got Fnatic. I think that with the way that this year has gone for them, and I think just with a lot of the factors that this team has kind of got up against or how they've played, whatever the case is, I could see them struggle early and go home, or I could see the UKF go absolutely insane. Libel Ace, Colonel Garcia absolutely show out at a LAN that's in their home country, and they are a serious factor on match point. I think there was a lot of negativity around them going into EWC. Even at times during EWC, we thought they were going out early. They found a way to get 10th. So that's why I kind of have them as a wild card, because their performances to me don't really scream a team that's like a lock for finals, but they on paper have absolute potential to be a factor if things go well. My dark horse, I've got SAUL. I think that they've, like we talked about with this team, we had mentioned that they've made finals, that the roster on paper is really good. They obviously have Sharky that has won a LAN before. And I think that if they can just finally put together a performance in finals, because I do think they'll make it there again, and they show that potential to win multiple games, like we've seen in some of these scrim sets and like we've seen during Pro League and things like that, I think SAUL can, again, be a factor. We're just kind of waiting for that LAN that we really see Jesco and Legacy as the 2 players that we expect them to be, which is a serious factor for a team to make match point. So that is my dark horse to potentially win the whole thing. And then my top 5, in no particular order, would be Alliance, Falcons, 100 Thieves, Shopify, and Genji. I think those are my top 5 based on everything I've seen this year. And just taking everything into account, I'm going to just go old tried and true. It's going to be Falcons, man. That's what I really feel like is going to win. I have definitely leaned a few different directions, but I just think right now, based on how they're playing, the addition of Guild, again, Guild has been arguably my favorite player to watch the past year or so. Especially, you go back to even like the NRG days with Sweet and Nathan. He's just a player that can be a huge X factor for these guys. And I just think the way that they're really flowing right now, the chemistry, the lineups that they figured out with their comps, just so many things I feel like are really saying Falcons for me. So I'm going to go with Falcons to win the whole thing.
Okay, I'll go next. I'm going to start it the same way. I kick it off with my wild card. I'm going with FaZe. I've already talked about FaZe so much this year. Why not throw them in the list? They deserve to be there. I've talked about them a ton. I'm going to throw them in there. You don't know what you're going to get. They could get 1 point in a match day. They could win the whole damn thing. You never know. And that's what you need in a wild card. I think I've picked a perfect wild card for this. And I'm going to be going FaZe up when this tournament begins. My dark horse, Enter Force 36. I like what they bring to the table. And like I mentioned earlier in the show, in this particular show, I would not be surprised if we had like a 10-game, 11-game final going. You got like 8 or 9 teams on match point. They just happen to get a good zone, win the whole thing. Perfect. That's one way to do it. You still win at the end of the day. I'm going E36 as my dark horse. At 5, I've got Wolves Esports. They're really impressive. I like watching them play. They were really one fight away from potentially winning EWC. I've got Wolves Esports at my 5. At 4, I'm glad Donnie brought them up. I almost put them higher, S8UL. I've been extremely impressed with S8UL. I think they fly under the radar. I felt like they deserved to go a little bit higher on my list, and I could definitely see a world where everything goes their way. We've seen it happen before in these land situations, and they find themselves in a good spot. If that does happen, they have the skill to stay up atop that leaderboard. 3, I've got Alliance. I don't have to say anything about that. 2, I've got NIP. I don't got to say anything about that. And this team that's going to win, there's absolutely no way they don't make finals. Shopify Rebellion, congratulations on winning champs in 2026. Congratulations, you just won. Shopify Rebellion are your champions. That is my list.
You didn't even have Falcons top 5.
Wyatt's going to have to mute socials, bro.
I almost put Falcons as a dark horse. I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
I can't wait to watch back all of our reactions when you said that, because I know all of us are like, bro,
I just looked straight at Jumbo's face.
You need to edit that out.
E, do you want to go?
I can go.
Yeah.
I got my list. All right, so which one do we start with?
Start with your wild card.
Wild card? Team Liquid.
Ooh.
Dude.
Wait.
Actually, really,
Yeah,
I like that.
Like 0 in them, yeah.
No, it's either going to go really good or it's going to be shit.
I like that.
Okay.
No, I actually really like that.
I see. It took me a second.
Yeah,
Okay. So
immediately I went like Yanya in them, but like...
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so I have them as my wild card. My dark horse, the boys, Grow Gaming. And then my top 5, I'll go with 5, I have 100 Thieves. 4, I have NIP. 3, I have Alliance. 2, I have Shopify Rebellion. And then you just can't not have them as number 1, Falcons. It's just...
Okay.
That's just...
you explained this to me before we recorded. You explained it on the pod. Explain Dark Horse one more time for me.
So Dark Horse is a team that is like, can win, right?
Yeah.
Like they can win, but they're not really being talked about.
Yeah, okay. Because my Dark Horse pick doesn't... I don't think my Dark Horse pick is a great pick. But sorry,
just go.
Did you have more to say?
It doesn't have to be a great pick because it's yours. No, I'm good.
No, my Dark Horse pick is not a great pick because I feel like it might not fit the criteria very well, but it's where I want to put them. You guys tell me if I should be picking something else. I'll start with
like
wild card
and everything else. If you can explain it well, just go for it.
I'll start with wild card. And my wild card, funny enough, I made the joke before we started this segment, was Sentinels. Because like Wyatt said about his wild card pick, I don't think you know what you're getting with them. You're either getting a last place or a first place finisher of that squad. So if they can manage to get to finals, they might do some stupid shit that we'd never seen and make it happen. Though I do really like the Team Liquid shout. I do. That rattled me. I was like, "Fuck, should I put Team Liquid now? Because that's a good show." But I think
no, you can piggyback.
I'm not going to because I think Team Liquid can. I'll get to my top 5 after. But like my dark horse, the reason why I'm saying that like this isn't a good pick, I went with 100 Thieves, and the reason I went with that is because I feel like I was looking at the whole year, and I feel like everyone always said like they should be amongst the top. And then they weren't, and that always gave people like rocky opinions about 100 Thieves. But as you guys all did, you put them in their top. Some of you put it in their top 5 now, and I think they could go and win the tournament because they've been finally looking really good and everything like that. So that's why I was putting 100 Thieves up here, even though they are being talked about more now. If you catch what I'm saying, tell me if you don't like that pick.
Well, no, I think a lot of people don't have them necessarily winning. So like I think the way you explained it's actually good for Dark Horse.
I think that's fine.
Now, my top 5, this is very difficult. It's also very NA heavy, but it was, or actually, it's technically not. But like,
bro, I'm shamelessly NA biased. It's not even close, bro.
He said, "I got you covered."
It's actually not. It's actually not. Only 3 teams are NA. But like the reason it was tough is because teams I don't have in my top 5 that easily could go top 5 is I think Team Liquid absolutely can. I think ROC absolutely can, and both of them aren't in my top 5. My list was very similar to Donnie. It was Alliance, NIP, Gen G, Falcons, and I really want to change it. I went this way because I feel like I always say Falcons are going to win. So for once, I was going to not say Falcons wins, and I was going to say Shopify Rebellion winning. Shopify Rebellion winning. That's what I said. But But I know now that Wyatt said it, I probably chalked there. So
wait,
I said Shopify.
This is big.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I agree with
This
you.
is
I said
big.
Shopify.
Wait,
I
why
was
it's
gonna say,
not by himself
just
on
hurry
his...
up and say Hot Dog Rebellion, or sorry,
Hot dog
Hot Dog
Rebellion.
Hot Dog Mafia.
Hot Dog Rebellion is way better than the Hot Dog
teams.
Mafia.
Though I will say this is going to be a crazy litmus test because I feel like this might be the first time someone's like agreed with Wyatt on a pick on this podcast.
Yeah.
Well, like
big.
Shopify, like,
So this is going to be
they
interesting.
just- Again,
No,
like,
I mean it's a hard. I mean, like they
splitting
were
hairs.
easy number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm splitting hairs here. Like, I really, really wanted to go with Falcons, and truthfully, the main reason I'm not is because I'm pretty sure I said it for EWC. Did I say it for the Open? I think the Open, I didn't actually give a prediction. I might have said Alliance. I don't know. I always say Falcons. So, like, this time, I did not. I'm also notoriously, I don't know how many predictions I've done because I miss a lot of them, but I'm notoriously the worst. You guys, I had 1 year where I didn't get a single team in my top 5 in even fucking finals, I think. Like, I don't know. So, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I'm just writing this VK Gaming prediction till I'm off this podcast.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
I thought
It's
about
very
putting-
rare on this
There's
podcast.
another
to rate
team
it.
that could be top 5, by the
thought
way.
about it.
Yeah.
I was really close, but I just was like, NA.
I almost
come
put
on.
them as my wild card, but I was like, just because of the you know, the kind of reasons Don gave earlier. But I'm like, they didn't really feel like a wild card. They feel like a team that's 7-1 again, in my opinion. So, you know, it's tough. Like there's a lot of good teams this year. And honestly, I do feel like Shopify, Falcons, and even Alliance are still like sitting in that tier just slightly above everyone, and then like it's kind of like the rest there. So it's gonna be an interesting final how it goes down to see if one of these
I
top
was
dogs
so
win.
close to putting Citadel Gaming at my 5. I was like
Also not
really
bad.
close.
It's not. Yeah, I wanted to mention them too because like Jumba said, I think you have those 3 teams that are just slightly above everybody else. But like that, everybody else, it's like 4 through. I almost want to say like 12 or 13.
Mhm.
It's probably the most teams that we've had like in that category that we actually can very feel confidently saying that they could win. We know it's a BR and a lot of things can happen, but like this year, especially with all the roster changes we've seen and just the way that the schedule played out, there's just so many different scenarios where you see like I could legitimately see this team winning. So I think you're right. I think you're right. Like it's gonna be a fun one.
Even the Falcons Alliance Shopify, I don't know if it's as big of a gap as we saw in the years of like the Dark Zero TSM.
Yeah.
Like if you're making a tier list, like I'm not making a LAN winner, Dark Zero TSM, or like putting those 3, and then like everyone else. It's more so it's like these are maybe like your S tier teams, and then you have like your A or A+ tier teams right under.
Which is a good place to be honest with you. That's where you want to be when you're going into any LAN situation. I will say I only made one change to my list. As Don was saying my dark horse, I originally had put Virtus Pro, and then I swapped it and put E36. And I just want this on record just in case Virtus Pro does good so I can take credit for it. I
want
throw
this
that out
on record.
You just add,
If Falcons goes in
backup picks,
If Falcons goes and wins, and then Hal and Waltzy come on to the pod, we don't tell them mine and Wyatt's pick.
No, we don't. No.
We
And
do
we
not
definitely
know.
don't tell
You
them
can
I
just
didn't
show
have
them
them
mine,
anywhere
show
on my
them
no, you
list.
can just be
Knox will
like,
be fine.
Enoch called you guys to bring it up.
We do not. But hey,
And on.
I was
if
gonna say thank you.
Shopify wins, can't wait for that Zainu.
And on.
The funniest thing was when Don said Falcons on his list, I completely forgot about Falcons for whatever reason. I looked at my list, was like, I can't change it now. Like I the top 5 I got to keep locked. I feel fine
I mean-
switching out a dark horse, but not my top
Yeah.
5.
They got 6 last LAN. They got
Yeah.
6.
Who knows?
never know.
Maybe they don't make finals.
Okay.
You know,
What are we doing that for? What are
who
we doing that
knows?
for? Those are our
That's why
dogs.
we play the games, folks.
Those are our dogs those are our, hey, we got no interview. Let's see if these guys want to hop on. Don't say that shit.
You
not-
know what?
that's
That's
not
on me.
nice.
That's on me. That's on me. That's my bad. Actually it's better that they're not on my list. That might confirm a win
Maybe.
because
Maybe.
my lists have been notoriously bad. One time I put 100 Thieves back in the old days, and I think they got 40th.
What was the big prediction that was terrible? Something about NRG. What was that?
Oh, when Finn was on the show, he notoriously said that NRG wasn't going to make it to Sunday, and he got cooked for that. I think we had Zephyr on the show right after that, and Zephyr gave him a look that I've never seen somebody give a look, and Finn was immediately on the defensive, trying to defend his pick.
Well, wasn't it the land that they also got second and scored the most points in the final lobby? So I mean, it wasn't the greatest of predictions. I mean, it's either that or the Navi or the the Navi pick when it was Matafe.
Yeah,
and then there, I think one time I picked was it Ascend? I forgot. It started with an A.
You picked Ascend because they came third of the previous land. Then they went, and I think they didn't drop a single kill in finals.
Yeah. So
now Wyatt's an Ascend hater.
Yeah,
but he's not just an Ascend hater. He eats Kashera.
Never.
Dude, I will never forget how criminally early the celebrations were rolling in from Wyatt on day one of the of opens.
My goat
and then just it happened exactly how everybody thought it would.
I got fucking quoted multiple times on Twitter. You got Jumbo gotta give fucking Wyatt his flowers. I'm like, it's day one, bro.
And Wyatt is just
what are we talking about? We don't have to give him
shit. Give him his flowers.
To give him shite.
What do you mean give him his flowers? It's day one. There's fucking 4 more days left to go.
I was watching with Jay for that, and we both are just sitting there like, there's just no way this continues, right? Like, there's just no way, bro.
God, you were right. There literally was no way. There was no way that
I'm getting messages from Burke. Gotta give Wyatt his flowers. Shut up, Burke.
Burke. Yeah, I remember Burke got involved. I was like, bro, you gotta stay out of it.
The best part was, I literally woke up. I didn't watch anything because I had work the next day. So I woke up at like 7 a.m., opened Twitter, and I just see tweets giving me flowers. I didn't even look to check the score. I just started retweeting them. I was just saying like, hell yeah. I didn't even look. I was just like, somebody could have just been straight lying and just been roasting me. They could have been doing it the opposite. Like, oh yeah, great pick, Wyatt. I would have been saying it like they were on my side. I had no clue. I just woke up and started tweeting. That's how it was. That was almost a good prediction. Almost a great prediction.
No. If it was a good prediction of who might have a chance of having a half decent day one, sure.
Gotta give me flowers for
that.
Good
prediction.
Gotta give me flowers for that.
My gosh.
Again, bro. That land though, my top 5 actually still did worse. That was the land where my top 5 did worse than like even Wyatt's, and he had
there was one land where all of our top 5s were terrible.
I'm pretty sure it was probably that land.
I think it was that land.
All right, well, ladies and gents, those are the predictions, and that is our ALGS 2026 Champs Preview Series completed. Everything is done. You can go back through and listen to all of them if you want to get your memory jogged as we get ready for Champs coming up in just a few days. It's going to be one hell of a time. We cannot wait. It's super exciting. We're going to be locked in, streaming live from somewhere. We'll give you all the details of that closer to the date, but don't forget to follow us. Or if you're just listening here, you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Follow us on the Twitch down below. I'm going to put that in there, Dawn's Twitch that we're going to have. We're going to have everything ready to go and ready for Champs. So, ladies and gents, thank you guys for tuning in as always. We'll catch you guys soon for some more content. We're probably going to be doing some lives as well after things are over, just to kind of talk about stuff. Maybe some mini-sodes. Might just be me and Dawn for those ones, just because he's going to be here. He's going to be in town. So we'll have all that stuff getting out, ready to go. Super excited. Cannot wait. We'll see you guys then. See ya.
See ya.